very good morning and good evening. Parminder here. Welcome to SAP S4 Hana Simple Logistics session number 10. I hope you all are able to hear me clearly and you can also see my screen. Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we'll going through our last session, that what we have covered in our last session, and then we'll proceed ahead. So our last session was about SAP Activate guided configurations and methodology. That what we have covered in our last session. I will quickly go through it. So basically, SAP best practices we have already covered. In last session, we focus on the guided configuration. First, we have seen that how guided configurations has been provided in cloud solutions, public cloud solution, where basically we have expert configurations and self-service configurations. So we will be having application managed solutions, and through the managed solutions in the cloud, we need to do the configuration. For guided configuration in the on-premise, we discussed that it would be largely based on the SPRO. Our configuration we would be doing based on SPRO. And there are a couple of more things has been provided that we will be discussing it today. That we have discussed it in the next slides. Okay, then we have also discussed about private cloud and public cloud. We discussed what is the private cloud, what is the public cloud, and we have also discussed what is on-premise and what is the difference between all of these three. We have gone into the guided configuration which has been given for on-premise system, where we have gone into the two transaction code. One is /n/SMB solution builder, and one new transaction SMB config guide UI to check how SAP is trying to give the some of the guided configurations in on-premise also. Also, it doesn't look that promising. It doesn't look that beautiful, but we discussed what SAP has provided. Then we went ahead into the detail of activate methodologies, phases, activity and steps, that how many different phases would be there in activate methodology in a project. And in each of this project phases, what kind of activities which will be required to be done. So that part we have covered. We started from discover phase, then prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. We discussed that what kind of different activities are required in each of these phases, step by step. Then we discussed to in our discussion that activate supports agile methodology. And before we understand agile methodology, we first discussed the waterfall methodology, which is a traditional approach, which was also followed in our SAP methodology. So we discussed that how a project has been delivered by using a waterfall methodology, and then what are the drawbacks are there, or what are the benefits are there in this waterfall methodology. Then we discussed what is agile methodology. We said agile methodology, largely it's a mindset which is having some core principles and core guidelines. So we discussed those core principles and core guidelines to understand that what agile wants to deliver to the customers and how projects would be delivered by using agile methodology. Then we have taken an example for agile methodology, that how the different phases would be there. So we say that within the realize phase and the testing part, we have divided into the different sprints. So we can divide our realize and we can divide our development into the different sprints. And as soon as the sprints get finished, we can also went ahead with the go live. We can combine multiple sprints into a single go live. We can go ahead individual testing of the sprints, or we can also combine multiple sprints and do one single UAT. So multiple permutation combinations are available, which we need to select as per the scenarios and situation and the guidelines provided by client. So we also discuss in this slide that what are the necessary things which would be there to adopt to the agile methodology. One of the things we have repeated again, that mindset need to be there. Then another thing is that the delivery need to be divided into the smaller chunks where the client need to agree to divide the delivery into the smaller chunks. Decision making should happen fast. We should be having a strong product owner who can help to make a quick decisions. And business users should be available throughout the project, and there would be a co-location of the business users and the project team. Then we discuss specifically for S4 HANA that how SAP is proposing that how a SAP S4 HANA project can be delivered in agile way. Basically, you will see the change only in the development phase or the realize phase where the work has been divided into the sprints. And the rest things you will see that the changing of the different concepts. So one of the key concepts we discuss here that why best practices has been introduced. It has a large connection with agile methodology because agile methodology, the basic principle or guideline is that readiness of the software should be there and people would be using the software rather than going through the documents. So to adopt that, best practices has been used, best practices client has been proposed to use. We also discuss here that in a greenfield implementation, how the sprints can be divided, how you can divide your work into the smaller chunks apart from dividing your RICEPs into the must have, should have, could have, and would have formulas. Then we, at the last, we discussed that how the sprints can be delivered for a conversion project, how conversion can be divided into the sprints. And we have also discussed a little bit on the product owner. What is a product owner role, how it would be there, and what kind of jobs would be done by a product owner. So that was our discussion from yesterday. I will take a quick pause to check if you have any questions. You can ask it now before we proceed ahead. Okay, if we don't have any question, we'll proceed ahead with our new topic. So today we are going to start a new topic that is the basics of Fiori. So our today topic is the user interface and the Fiori. Okay, Fiori is our today's topic. Before we understand Fiori, we need to first understand what is the user interface. Okay, the first question I'm going to answer is what are the different kind of user interfaces we have, and why do we require Fiori? Or why do we need a new interface? Okay, that is the first question I'm going to answer. Before I answer that question, we all have experience using GUI, SAP GUI, right? Graphical user interface. Do you guys face any issues, problems which you want to highlight, or the shortcomings in GUI that will actually help to understand that why we need a new interface? Any one of you can unmute yourself and speak.
User experience, one of the things.
User experience, okay.
And also some people say like there is a lot of real estate wasted because you get a screen, half of the screen is empty. Whereas if it's a web-based, then you can have like more information.
Yeah, that's correct.
Search functionality.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, the users are not used to the kind of uh, this SAP screen. They are more like used to web screen and all, so they like in that format more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You cannot
Okay.
navigate from one place to another place.
Friendliness, navigation.
GUI configuration is mandatory.
Setup. Okay.
Hard to remember all the T codes, right? In the GUI.
Reports. Yes, very important. Okay, yeah. So whatever you have said is very correct. So let me elaborate it a little bit. So first question, guys, you can go on mute. It's still not muted. Okay. So the first question we are going to answer it that we are going with the Fiori. Why Fiori is required? Okay. Why we need to? There is a requirement to change the interface. Okay. So there are some problem with the GUI that bad user experience. Search is a problem. It is not that user friendly. Navigation is the issue. Setup we need to do, and we need to remember the T codes. That kind of some issues is there in the GUI. So I will elaborate it more. First, discuss that what kind of different interfaces are available. So if you are working in ECC, we are having an interface which is GUI, graphical user interface. Okay. When ECC R3 comes, when UI interface come, it became a hit into the market, and people liked it a lot because before that there was kind of a black screen user interface was there, which was further very bad experience for the user, and the graphical user interface was having much more benefit with that. But compared to the today's scenario where we are living in a scenarios where we work on the mobile phones, tablets, browsers, if we compare it with the today's scenarios, the technology of GUI is quite outdated technologies and is not appreciated by the business users. So we were having a GUI. Then we also have another interfaces which has been introduced as NWBC, NetWeaver Business Client. And then after the NetWeaver Business Client, we were also having the Fiori. So in GUI, basically what the major problem in the GUI is, I will start from the very scratch. Okay. Let's say this is a user who come up and he wants to use the SAP. Okay. So when he wants to use a SAP, what first thing you need to do it? The first thing you need to do is that there's an installation and setup is required. We need to install GUI on his machine. We need to do the setups in his machine. Many companies would not be giving an admin authorization so that this GUI can be installed. So what they need to do, they need to create a service request. And after the service request has been created, remotely or by another way, the GUI would be installed on their computers. And then with some file or with some screenshot, the access would be shared that how they need to add their server, which server they need to log in on that server, ECC or S4 Hana 1909, they need to add. So this process itself is a quite cumbersome process, and this process can take easily in any business scenario 3 to 5 days can be taken here. So that is one of the major drawback. If a user want to use it, the initialization process is very long. So we call this as a user onboarding. So there is a slow user onboarding. So once the user has given everything, and once the user ID and password has been given to him, what he would be doing, he would be log into the system. But once he log into the system, whether he would be able to do anything in this GUI screen? No, he would not be do anything in the GUI screen because it's a very complicated screen which opens in front of the user. Okay, a blue screen where the screen itself doesn't guide what to do. Okay, a training is mandatory. Intensive training is mandatory so that anyone can use SAP. That is another drawback. So user wants to just go and create a purchase order. He wants to do some purchase, or you want to do a purchase requisition. You can compare that. If you want to purchase a laptop, what do? Do you need a training for that? No, right? So what do? You just go into the Google, you just start searching that you need a laptop and how it needs to be done. You find the site Amazon. From Amazon, you find your a good laptop which you want to purchase, and then you go ahead with that purchase. You don't need any training. You don't need any training that how to use a Google Chrome or how to search for a Google or how to go to Amazon site and then place your order. Then why we need a specific trainings, detailed trainings with the SAP? That a user need to be trained in depth so that he would be able to understand the system and he would be able to start doing his work. I'm not saying that with Fiori we are eliminating training at all, but definitely the training which we require with the SAP GUI compared to the Fiori, it would be very minimal. It would be very less training which would require. We expect that the Fiori go into the advanced phases where similarly we do a purchase without any training through the our personal purchases. User should be able to go ahead into the SAP screens, and user would be able to do that kind of things by exploring the systems. If user is explorative enough by Fiori, he would be able to do it, but still some training would be required. But with current SAP ECC GUI, the training required by the user is huge. Huge amount of trainings need to be given to him. Then once he is trained, so that is the second part, which is their intensive user training. So we need to provide an intensive user training in our current system so that the user are onboarded and using it. Third thing is that user interface is not role specific. Whether a finance user is logging in, whether a procurement user is logging in, or whether any another user is logging in, for all of them, the screen looks exactly same. There is no difference in the screen. So all the screens look exactly similar. So I am a finance user. I should be having access to the application related to finance. I am a purchase user. I would be only seeing the screen related to the purchasing. I am interested in to do the purchase. I am a production manager. I would be interested in the reports of the production. So only that kind of stuff should appear to me. But it's just a standard screen. So screen is not adaptable, or you can say the user interface role adaptable. The fourth thing is that even though we have provided the trainings, it's T-code intensive. User need to remember the T-codes which he need to use it, okay? And based on the T-codes only he need to put, although he can put the T-codes in the favorites and all this stuff to make the stuff easy for him, we can do it. But largely, if the user doesn't know the T-code, or if user doesn't know that how to do the navigation, which is also quite complex. The navigation tree is also not that easy that user with the minimal information would be able to easily navigate do a creation of purchase order. So that is another problem. So your navigation is a problem. And your and the T code user need to remember that that's another problem. Apart from that, the user can only use it from his own machine. User can only use it from his own machine. If you want to use it on browser with GUI, he cannot use it. If you want to use it on his mobile, again he cannot use it, or in the tab if you want to use it, he would not be able to use it. The browser part, so the another user interface which is available in ECC is NetWeaver Business Client. With NetWeaver Business Client, what SAP has done, SAP has changed all of your logons, okay, and everything which you do in GUI, you would be able to do on a web browser. Everything you would be able to do on the web browser, okay, and based on the role also, you would be seeing a particular boxes on your web browser, okay, based on the role. So NWBC, with the NWBC, you can go with the web browser approach and the role-based approach. But still, still one of the another problem which is there with the existing interfaces is it's quite clumsy. If you open a screen, there are so many options are there in create sales order or create purchase order or a production orders. There are so many options are there, so many fields are there that, and so many tabs are there that user get confused. He need to go in which tab, and in under that tab what data he is supposed to fill and what data is not relevant to him. So screens are quite clumsy. And if you want to create something, he need to go into another transaction. If you want to change something, he need to do another transaction. If you want to display it, he need to go into the another transaction. And if he wants to do some reporting, there is another transaction. So I am interested in only in the purchasing related to the purchase order stuff, but I need to go through the multiple transactions, and one transaction to another transaction navigation also is not that smooth. I will quickly go into the next slide. We'll continue our discussion in the next slide. Okay. So far what we have discussed that what kind of problem user is having. So user onboarding is slow. We required a lot of training for the users. Navigation is a problem. It's a T code intensive. And then we have discussed that user would not be able to use it. It cannot be used on mobile or tablets. Then we said that navigation is the issue. Navigation is a problem. The another thing is that we have discussed that the screens are quite clumsy. There are so much options are there. It's not simplified as per user experience. One another thing is that I'm getting a lot of background noises. I'm not sure whether you are also getting it. Looks like somebody is connecting and deconnecting. Are you guys also getting background noises?
No.
No.
Maybe something from, okay.
Ramendra, everyone is on mute.
Maybe some loose connection from the side. Okay. Okay, let's continue. The another problem is that guys, are you able to hear me now?
Now, yes, but earlier not.
Okay, I will repeat. No issue.
Yeah.
Okay, no issues. So user need to, the problem which I am putting it here is that in the existing interfaces is kind of a dump interfaces. That doesn't know or that doesn't tell the user who is logging in that what need to be done. Even user need to tell the system that what he need to do. You need to go onto the screen and you need to check that, you need to tell the system that, okay, I want to check that what are the purchase orders which is coming as a delayed. What are my delayed purchase orders? What are the purchase orders which is there in the backlog? So system already is having a huge amount of data and you log in, day out on your system, right? So system should be intelligent enough to tell you upfront that there are already some issues in the system which would require your attention. So there should be, as soon as you log in, there should be some screen saying that, okay, 20 purchase orders are there in the backlog. It's in the red, so that you can quickly click there and proceed ahead with that information. But current interface, whether we talk about NWBC or we talk about SAP GUI, that are not intelligent system. We need to tell the system what to do, but system doesn't guide user that what should be done. So that intelligence is not there. Intelligence is not available. So that the current interfaces are kind of a non-intelligent interfaces. Then current interfaces are very poor whenever it comes to your analytics. Whenever it comes to analytics and reporting, it's very poor. It doesn't have any capability, or very few places there would be saying very basic graphs you would be able to see. But in general, for day-to-day decision makings, day-to-day operations, whatever things we need to do it, we just need to go through the grid kind of reports, and that reports also we need to sometime download into the Excel and do the manipulation. So that analytics are not available in current interfaces, neither in NWBC nor in GUI. Whatever the place it is available, it's very minimal analytics has been provided so far. The another problem is search capabilities. Both NWBC and ECC doesn't have any search capability at all. There is no search capability at all. Okay, so like what are the first thing we do it whenever we go to Google, or whenever we want to purchase anything, we go into the Google and we do the search. That is the first thing we do it, right? So the same kind of search capabilities are not available in our existing interfaces, but that search facilities, functionalities would be available in Fiori. One more thing which we have discussed is multiple transactions for single object. One transaction to create PO, another to change PO, display PO, then multiple transaction for PO reportings, and the navigation also from one place to another place is not that good. That's another problem. Another problem is that when you go from one transaction to another transaction, we need to do an input of a lot of information. Multiple places you need to put your materials. Even you want to generate some reportings. Many places you want to put your document numbers, your plant, company code. From one transaction to another transaction, if you are switching, sometime you need to copy that information, go to the next transaction, paste it there, and then execute it. So that is a problem of your navigation. Okay, that is a problem of the interface. And the navigation is not good when it's moving from one screen to another screen. It's not catching the information of the previous screen and helping out and adopting automatically that in the next screen, what kind of information which you was viewing in previous screen can be automatically put it into the next screen. So that kind of capabilities are not there. So user need to do a lot of work. User need to do a lot more clicks. User need to insert a lot of more information. So that all things need to be reduced. Everything need to be reduced. Just give an example. If you want to transfer a stock from one storage location to another storage location, okay, if you want to do a S-log to S-log kind of a transfer, first you will be viewing your stock in MMBE or any stock report. Then you would be able to understand what material you need to transfer or what storage location, from which storage location to which storage location you need to transfer. Then you would be coming to your transaction like Migo, and again you have in the reports you have entered your material, plant, storage location, everything. But in the Migo transaction, again you need to enter all of the information, from which storage location to which storage location, what material, quantity. A lot of information need to be entered here. So this all stuff is actually, I'm not saying that it is getting the zero, but it's highly reducing it. The storage location to storage location transfer by using a Fiori application is very simplified. You will just view a report of the stocks, and then by seeing a report, you will say that I need to move from this storage location, I need to move out, this storage location, and this plant I need to move in. You will just enter this, click on these two places, then enter your quantity, execute it, your stock will be moved from the same screen. So that kind of simplifications is expected from interface. That kind of intelligence is expected from interface, which as of now is not available. Okay. So at high level, I have tried to put the different problems which we are having with the current interfaces. So currently in ECC, we have a GUI and NWBC. In Fiori, what kind of, or in with S4 Hana, what kind of interfaces would be available, that we are going to discuss in the next slide. So let's discuss what are the interfaces will be available with Fiori, with S4 Hana. Can I use my GUI with S4 Hana? Yes, we can use. Can we use same NWBC NetWeaver Business Client interfaces, user interface with S4 Hana? Yes, we can use it. Can I use Fiori? Yes, we can use it. Okay, all three interfaces are available. All of these three interfaces, we would be able to use it. In ECC, what I can use it? In ECC, I can use GUI, I can use NWBC, I can also use Fiori. So Fiori is also available in ECC. So what is difference then? If the Fiori is also available in ECC, what is the difference? The difference is coming, you will see high difference is coming because of HANA capabilities. You can have a front-end interface, but your back-end system also should support that front-end interface works as an intelligent way. Okay, with the HANA capability, now the adoption to the Fiori would be higher, and now we are having 13,000 application, 13,000 plus application out of the box given by SAP. Okay, but if you will see the ECC, around only 100 apps was provided, or even less than 100 apps was there. If you want to use Fiori with ECC, you need to do all of the application development by yourself. Okay, one more thing I would put it here for S4 HANA public cloud. Can I use GUI? No. Can I use NWBC? No. Only Fiori is available for public cloud. We had a discussion earlier on S4 HANA public cloud solution, and with the public cloud, what would be available? Only Fiori is available. Other tools are not available. In ECC, all three are available, but out of the box Fiori applications are very few. The Fiori applications are not adopted and innovated for HANA database capability usage. With that explanation, I will take a pause to check if you have any kind of question and answer. In the next thing, what I will go into the system, and we will create a scenario where basically we'll see a user is logging in first time by using a Fiori, and how the experience gets changed compared to GUI. But before I go ahead there, I would check if you have any kind of questions. Okay, if you don't have any questions, let's proceed ahead.
Hi, Parvinder Samrat here. Normally, in case of GUI, when we handles any kind of GET codes, we create transaction codes and we give the authorization to the respective users. But in order to handle the gap, basically. So now, in case of Fiori, in S4 HANA, suppose if you are going to use Fiori, so if there is any gap and if we develop any customizations, there is no T codes as such. What you explained. So then, how it can be handled?
So just hold on with your queries, Samrat. In the next couple of sessions which we are going to discuss, all of your queries would be answered. Okay, just hold on with your queries. So I'm going to explain Fiori in very detail. So you talked about extensibility, you talk about the ZT codes, everything would be automatically answered when you go into the next two sessions. Today's and tomorrow's session, including all of the queries which you have asked, would be answered. Any other question, guys? Okay, so if you don't have any other question, what we are going here, I have logged in into our remote desktop. Okay, and with the remote desktop, we would be going and checking our Fiori. So let me come out thoroughly and then we'll see. Okay. So now let's see an example where basically a user has come up, a user has onboarded, and he would be using a system first time. So what would be provided to him? It would be provided a link to the Fiori browser. Okay, that link URL would be provided to him, and user ID and password. And in some cases, you would find this kind of shortcut on his desktop or the company portals, which just need to be double clicked to log into the Fiori. No need to install anything, or he can just copy paste in the Google Chrome this thing, and then he need to put the user ID and password. So I'm putting my user ID and password to proceed ahead. So in this case, the GUI installation or any other kind of installation is not required. So that 3 to 5 days which was taking to just to install the GUI itself has been eliminated. So user onboarding is faster. Now here, the first thing you look at this screen is called Launchpad. So this full screen is called Launchpad. It's taking some time to load all of the tiles which is available and all of the Fiori applications. Let me do a quick refresh. Yeah. So first we will be discussing about this page. Okay. I will discuss this page a little later, but let's say a new user came up and he is having a very minimal knowledge that what he needs to do. Okay, and this screen, a browser come up in front of him. Now this screen for user, it would be appeared as per his role. So let's say he's basically responsible for doing the purchase. Only the purchase relevant application he would see in front of him. This is my user ID where a lot of authorization has been given. So I am having access to so many different application here. But if it is related to, let's say it's a purchasing user who has been logging in, so he would be only seeing this kind of pages where the purchase related information would be displayed in front of him. Okay. And whenever he see the information, this information also would be a responsive information. Within the tiles itself, you would be able to get some of the information. So you are seeing that the tile is loading a data. So as soon as we have come into it, we have not executed anything, but system has executing the transaction at the backend, getting a data from the backend servers and trying to display it here. So he would be able to see directly the procurement overview. So I am a user, I have logged in, I don't know anything about the system, and in front I see the procurement overview. So what I need to do is I just need to click on the procurement overview so that I would be able to go ahead and see the details. So I just put it, system is asking to put currency, I would put USD and I will click go here. Okay, if a user is little bit explorative in nature, he would be able to get most of the things by his own. Okay, and here he would be seeing the different kind of data. So we don't have any data with this currency. Let me try with another currency. So it is giving me a short term that it is saying that the OData services which is required is not activated. So in the next session, we are going to go understand that when we see these kind of issues and errors, how we need to sort it off. Okay, so what kind of things need to be done when we see issues and error in the Fiori? It would be a little bit different issue handling which we do with the GUI. Okay, so this kind of information would be visible to him, even though he doesn't understand these information also, that what to do with this information. There is a functionality available, which is a search functionality. So he can quickly click on this search functionality, and then he can type what he want to do. Let's say he want to create a sales order. It's not like that he needs to know that there is a transaction code for the sales order VA01, which he should be knowing. So he can simply type create sales By the time you would be putting this information, system would be proposing you that what are the different applications available. Okay, so you can click on the search here, and here system would display you that what kind of different applications are available by which you can create a sales order. It looks like there is some issue in system today. It's throwing a lot of errors. Let me refresh it and try again. Okay, let me re-log in.
Remove your cache and try.
Yeah, so
Browsing
that
it.
is the one thing which we generally do, removing of cache and then retrying it. Let me try to. So this is one of the part of the troubleshooting, that when we face a different kind of issues, the first thing we try to do is remove the cache and try to log in again. So when you are logging in first time after removing the cache, you might also be seeing this kind of screen. Okay, so you need to click on Go Advanced, and you need to click on this link. Then you would be able to log in. Okay, so that's quite common. Also, this unsafe option and going into the advanced option, that would not be appearing it when you would be logging in with your actual production systems or with your actual quality systems. In that case, that would not be happening. By the time I'm logging into my 1909 system,
So in GUI, this is separate SID, is it? In the Launchpad?
sorry, come again. GUI?
In GUI Launchpad, I saw that this was a separate SID, right? System ID. If you go to your Launchpad, you should.
Mm-hmm.
So in your Launchpad, in your GUI Launchpad.
This one?
No, the GUI Launchpad, the first initial. Okay, this is separate. Fiori itself is separate, 1909. Okay.
No, there is a single system S4 Hana 1909. We are using it, and
Okay.
Fiori also we are using from the same system.
Oh, okay. And if it is ECC, then it will be separate, is it? Fiori system ID?
No. It depends on the architecture. I have not talked about the Fiori architecture. So
Okay.
once I show you some of the screens, I would be talking about the Fiori architecture. Then you would be able to understand that how these different systems are used. What is the front end system? What is the back end system? That I will explain you.
Okay. Thanks.
Let me log it out completely. Okay, so we'll try to logging from here. So let me explain you here. We would be actually using two things from here. So this is a transaction code. So if you don't get it, generally all the user, we don't give if we are in the project where we have decided that only the Fiori would be used, we would be using it directly, giving the URLs to the user. We don't provide them the access to the GUI. Okay, but for the consultants, there is a separate transaction code. Okay, so there is a separate transaction code here. So this is a transaction code which you can also do from your GUI. You can execute this transaction code, and then system will take you to the browser. It takes you to the default browser. We prefer that you use Fiori with Chrome. Although it works with both Internet Explorer and Chrome, our experience is that the performance is much better with Chrome compared to the Internet Explorer. So you should use it with the Chrome. So that is one, which is Fiori Launchpad. This would be used by your consultant, end users, and technical users. Everyone would be using this. Okay. Then we are having one more thing here, which is a Fiori Launchpad Designer. This is basically used only by consultants. This is also used to create new Fiori apps. So I will show you this, that how this can be used in tomorrow's session, and how would be able to proceed ahead with this. In tomorrow's session, we'll be going ahead. So now we can also, I'm trying to show you that from the GUI also, if you don't have a URL, you can also use that UI to FLP transaction, and from that transaction you would be able to proceed ahead. So this transaction, our default browser here is Internet Explorer, so it's opening in the Internet Explorer. Here it's loading correctly actually in Internet Explorer, but I will copy that link. It will open in Google Chrome. Password. Okay. Now it loaded correctly. So I have an icon here 1909. So you can also save this icon on your remote desktop. So you can go here. It's generally settings. Sorry, not in the settings. More tools and create shortcut. So that will create a shortcut on your desktop so that you can quickly log into this. Okay, so we were at the position where we were talking about an end user who is logging in to the system first time, and he wants to understand that how he would be doing a different kind of things. So I was trying to explain you the search functionality, even though that the tiles itself is self-explanatory and information would be there in front of him, which he can quickly and easily access, and he can also type it here to search. We will try to find it out, the create sales order application. So I have just typed create SA, and system is showing this application, create sales order. User can click it on this, and user can go it into the directly to the application to create sales order. So that is quite easy and quick for him, rather than knowing the navigation path. Here a simple English has been used rather than knowing a transaction code. So with the simple English, user would be able to navigate it. This search capability is very good capability and very unique capability. I call it as a Google search. It works similar way as I can come here and search anything here, but this search need to be activated first. So when your basis team do the installation of the system, at that time they need to activate search. Or if you don't see search here and if you want the search capabilities, you can also ask them to activate it. I call it as a Google search, but in SAP terminology, it is called as an enterprise search. So from here, let's say I want to search a user come up. I am a new user. I don't know anything, but I only think that my product name, or let's say the product code. So let's first start with the product code. I know that TG11 is my product code. That much information I have only. I have put it here and I have pressed enter. So I'm trying to search that with this product, what is the information available in the system and what kind of things I can do. Wow, it works so fast. Huh? Earlier it was not responding and now it's working in the lightning speed. Although this is a very small system with only in memory of I think around 200 GBs, still the performance is fast. But if you feel the slowness in the performance, you need to check with your basis team to make sure that the enough in memory is available. So by putting this here, material code TG11, what we see here the different kind of documents. There are a lot of material documents is posted, and you see here the highlights in the green. So in the search, what system has searched? System is highlighting here green. So there in this material document number, in this material, basically the material code is customer material. TG11 is a material code. Okay, and these are the material document numbers. On the left hand side, you can see that there are the purchase orders, there are the sales orders available with this material. Now let's see, I am interested in the sales orders. So I clicked on the sales orders. So now it will be showing me all of the sales orders available with that material code. So actually I have gone into the immense of the reporting. So you can yourself understand in the left hand side, your billing document, customer materials, material documents, these all are different kind of reports. This is actually 20 to 25 different reports executing it together without a transaction code. But in ECC GUI, to see all of this information, you need to execute different transactions. And then I can also see this in the form of grid. Okay, so these are all sales orders for this material it is showing. If I want to download into Excel, just I need to click it here. The information can also be quickly downloaded into the Excel. Okay, and it's already formatted. No formatting, much formatting is required. You will see it comes in a neat and clean way. So for a new user downloading a sales order, going into the screen, he need a lot of trainings. But if a user is explorative in nature, from the Fiori, he can do a lot of things without any training. If you come below, it also shows you the filter. Let's say in our system, there's a few sales orders coming because it's just a new system, only few transactions are there. If you have the system where basically thousands of orders comes up here and you don't want to see all of the orders, you can just simply click in here. There's a graph here, pie chart, which is showing you can filter with the open order, in process order, complete order. I click it on the open orders. So now system is showing that these are the 4 open orders which we are having it. Then the same way you can having a multiple filters available based on the customers. Also you can filter it out. You can also filter it out whether it is document date is of current month or it's a very old order, last 3 years you want to check. You can filter out based on this.
Blank one actually.
Sorry.
Near in process and open there's a blank, right?
Let's check that. So this is the one which is a blank one. So you can also click it on any order and you would be able to go into the display of the order. So you would be able to check it that you would be able to check the detail of that order. You would also be able to check the process flow. Okay, so what I was showing that we can click, user can click on the information. I just click on the sales order number, and by clicking on the sales order number, you would be able to go into the detail of the sales order number. So user has explored a lot. He has gone from his material code information. He go into the list of the sales orders. From the list of the sales order, he has filtered the information. He has seen the different material documents, and he is able to see the sales order also. So that all he is able to do without going into any transaction code and without typing it any information. The only thing user has typed in so far is the TG11 material code, and only typing the TG11 material code, user is able to explore a lot by clicking on the multiple things. Now I will park that question that why it is showing as a blank, why there is no status. So all of these functional things we will be seeing it when we go into our functional session. So we'll be having an order to cash SD, MM, PP session. In that we would be going into the detail that what is this information and how it is displaying. So now please concentrate on the interface part, that how the interface part works. Okay, so here by clicking on this, I would be able to go back into the previous screen where I was, and then I can also, so another thing I want to show that this is a selection based on the pie chart. You can also see the selection based on the list. So in list, it is showing it's a not relevant. So that we need to check basically the logic, that on what logic basis system is assigning these statuses, and then we'll be able to find that why it is falling under the category of not relevant. Maybe it is an incomplete document itself. Then you can also click on here show more if user wants to take the filter based on the document date, or based on the rejection reasons, based on the sales order document type, or based on the sales organization. Multiple filters are available which you can get it activated here. So why the graphs has been shown here? The advantage of the graph is when you are using it in your mobile devices or tab, it's very easy to click on the pie of the graph, and then system would be giving you updated information here. Okay, even though you can do the sorting of it, if you want to add few more fields, you can just click it on here on the settings. Few more fields which you want to add it, you can also add in this grid. Even though user can also create his own application, so you can share it through email. A link will be gone for this particular screen which you are seeing, or you can also save it as a tile. In next further few sessions, we will be seeing it that how user would be able to create his own tiles by information available from these kind of places. Okay, so now I'm going one step more back. So we went into the sales order. So there's a lot of information which system has shown to us. So step by step, the way you have gone forward, exactly by following the same back screen, user would be able to come back also. Okay, so the navigation is the key. The navigation is quite smooth here. So let's say we go here in the anything here. Let's say we go into the purchase orders. So only one purchase order is available. So system is, we have seen that by clicking on here, you would be able to go into the detail of purchase order. But system doesn't stop you here. System is also guiding you here that you can see your purchase order value trend from here. You can see your purchase order value by material group. So different analysis you can do it from here. So system suggests here that what kind of different thing you can do it with this transaction or with this document. You can go into your create purchase order. You can go into the post good receipt for the purchase order, mass changes of the purchase order. So multiple applications which system is proposing you that you can, this can be the next steps for you. If you want to go ahead and create a purchase order, you can click it here and go ahead with the purchase order creation. That kind of stuff also you can do it from here. The search capability is that fast enough that even though, so I will click it here on SAP to go back into my main page. So I'm back into my home page by clicking on this SAP icon. That is quite standard nowadays. Any application you go, you click on this logo, you come into the home page. Just hold on with your questions. We'll be coming back to your questions. Even you can put your username. I'm a user, whatever the things I have done it in the system, I want to check it. I can put it here, my username. Let's say I put a username Ram. And then I want to check that what this user has done. So you can see in the left-hand side, the GL accounts, journal entries, material documents, everything system listed out. Whatever has been used by this user. Okay, everything is there. Even though it is so, this search functionality is so good, you can also type a date here. Let's say I put 04/12/2019, and then I do a search here. What happens on that date? Then system is showing me that based on the created date or based on the document date, whatever things are available, your controlling documents, cost centers, general entries, whatever the things has been available, system is showing you here. Now, some of the things which you don't see it here, let's say you say that I'm not seeing any sales order which is created on 4th of December. So you need to go to your basis team. Basis team do the activation of this enterprise search based on the objects and based on the fields. So they need to activate the document date search for the sales order object so that even the sales order can be searched based on the date. So that kind of functionality is available. Now, I also want you to think about how all of these things are happening. How a user is able to go into detail of each and everything. You are experienced consultant with the ECC or with the GUI experience you are having, you would have generally seen that whenever you go into the standard reporting, one transaction give you a reporting about one object only. Even though it's a multiple object, it would be within the same module. It doesn't go cross the modules. Okay, but here you will see it is going cross the modules. Even though without putting a transaction code, with the object search, we are doing it. We also call it as a fuzzy search. And then system is able to go across the modules, across the data which is available in your system, do a search and come back with the results. How these all things are happening? Can we do this? Fiori is also available in ECC. Can we do all these things with ECC? The answer is no, you cannot do. That is one of the basic reasons we have gone through the fundamental and the basics so that you guys can understand that how these advanced things are happening. What are the core things behind it to make it successful? So to do these kind of things, you need a big engine. You need a very smart database which can go into the depth of the multiple tables, do the calculations on the fly, and give you results back on the fly. So that is the capability of a database. So that capability came with the HANA database as an in-memory database. That's why so many things are now possible with these user interfaces. If you try to develop something in ECC, you would be always be getting a icon which is rotating round and round and not giving you a result. Even though we try to just run a little bit complex report within our ECC, you would see that icon. It's just hovering and not giving results. But here we are able to do it. The main reason is our in-memory database, which is a HANA database, which is having the immense power of parallel processing, on-the-fly calculations due to the in-memory database concepts, which we have gone in the depth in the earlier sessions. So now I will take a quick pause. Now you would be able to see that what kind of power Fiori has, what kind of things Fiori can deliver, which a GUI cannot deliver to you. It's not even a 10% closer to that. I will take a quick pause to check. A couple of people has question. You can ask it now.
If Fiori is implemented on ECC, it will be fast, or how will it happen?
Fiori on ECC would be slow.
The same reports will come.
Sorry?
Similar reports will be coming.
No, nothing will come. No search functionality. All of this application which we are seeing, nothing is there. Fiori in ECC is used as a platform. Okay, you would be using that platform. You can develop your own application. SAP is hardly having, I said that less than 100 applications are there. Okay, again, you are working on your traditional database system. Thinking about this search functionality is far away. Not possible in ECC.
Hey, Parminder, I had two questions here.
Mhm.
So this search functionality, is it linked to your roles? Like, for example, if I search TG11, it gave you everything, right? So even for the user, it will give all the relevant documents.
So what would be happening in Fiori? Everything is binded by the roles and the authorization concept. So whatever the information you would be able to access it, the authorization would not be bypassed. So we'll go through the authorization concept. I will explain you detail that what different level of authorization the data has been passed. If you are having the authorization, then only user would be able to see the data here. Otherwise, user would be able to see on the tiles, no data loaded. Okay, or it will be just showing red color error. Okay, the data would not be displayed to him if the authorization is not there.
Okay. And the second question was like this white back. It will be always white background, is it? Can we change background also? This blue.
Yeah, we can change the background also. I will show you settings. Just hold on for a few minutes. There are the settings available.
Hi, Parminder, Samrat here. I have one question. In case of these particular Fiori apps, normally in case of like in GUI, whenever we get search for any report, so based on some users different input selection fields and output selection fields, we select and we get the result. So here, how is it possible?
Yeah, so we'll go through into the different Fiori applications. Here the inputs are also available. You would be able to give in the Fiori inputs and it would be giving you the output. But the major concept here is that your input and output screen would not be different. It would be the same screen. The upper half portion would be the input and the below portion would be your output.
So in that case, if you download that particular file, so in the download file, both of the things will be both of the things will be getting.
No, you would be, as I downloaded here, what you get? You only get the data. When you download, you only get the data. Why you will get the input screen?
Okay.
Question: you log in from Fiori directly, right? Like from GUI to Fiori. Do they have same access, or do we need separate access for Fiori?
So just hold on with your access and authorization issue. We'll be going into the architecture and then there we'll be explaining you the access in detail. But to answer your question quickly, there would be a separate access need to be given. You need to create your user for the Fiori access. By default, it doesn't come up.
So for any enhancements on the screen, so we'll be talking with the Fiori person, right?
Sorry, come again with your question.
Now, for any enhancements on the screen,
Any
enhancements?
Yes, enhancement. Yes, there are the enhancements possible. So that is called here extensibility. We'll also talk about the extensibility part when we go into the detail of the Fiori. In tomorrow's session, I will show you that what kind of extensibilities are possible. Anyhow, with the help of the developers, you can develop any kind of new Fiori application. Existing Fiori application, extensibilities has been given, where let's say just to add a Z fields, that kind of options are available, which can be quickly done.
So once we go from ECC to S4 Hana, so the configurations has to be done with the SPRO and all the other things we can, all the transactions can be done in S4 Hana. Is that the way it is?
So you can actually, if you are going with Fiori, you would be able to do each and everything with the Fiori. So in Fiori, we will see there are the two kind of applications are there. Okay. So let me answer that question. So actually in Fiori, we are having different kind of applications. So what are the different kind of applications which is available in the Fiori? You will see the transactional application. So this is the question also which has been asked in the interviews, not in the interviews, in the certification exam. What kind of different applications are available? So we have transaction applications, we have analytical applications, we have fact sheets, and we have smart business application. Within the transaction application, you would be having a two kind of application which is delivered or which is simplified for Fiori. So these are the simplified application which has been created for Fiori. Then you will be having the HTML applications. So with this HTML application, what you would be able to do it, this is similar your VA01 application, which you are using it on a browser. It is just adopted to Fiori theme. What do we mean by adopted to Fiori theme? Only look and feel will be there as Fiori, but all other things are exactly same as a VA01 transaction. It's actually a VA01 transaction, which earlier you were using it NWBC, now would be available in your Fiori. In these kind of application, you would also be able to go and put your transaction code. So from here, you can actually also put your transaction code SPRO, and you can do all of the config from the Fiori itself. Okay, so this transaction SPRO or this transaction VA01 is not actually adopted to Fiori, not simplified for Fiori, but available within Fiori as a HTML extension of your ABAP transaction code. So I will quickly show you that example in the system.
So it will be similar to the GUI page, I think, right?
Similar to the GUI. So by using this, you need not to log into GUI for SPRO. SPRO can also be used from here. Let me go back to our okay, so let me now go back to this thing. So let's say here, if I go to your application, create sales order VA01. So this is application. So these kind of application, which is HTML application, it would be always be opening into the new tab. So you can see it is opening into the new tab, and here even you would be having the option to put a transaction code. So this is your HTML application. So all of your transaction codes which was available in your GUI, which you are able to execute, you would be able to open in Fiori also. So let's say you want to do the customization. I am going to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Same way you can do all of the your configurations through SPRO still on the Fiori script. So yes, it is actually possible that you can eliminate in S4 HANA on-premise also. You can eliminate for your end users, even for consultant also. They can stay on the Fiori and do all of the tasks from Fiori. Okay, guys. Any other question before we proceed ahead? Next thing which basically I want to explain you is Fiori architecture. So if you guys doesn't have any another question, we can proceed ahead with the architecture.
You mentioned analytics, fact sheets, and the last one I didn't get. What was that? smart or something.
Smart business applications. So basically the smart business application is the one which we have seen today, the procurement overview, which is kind of a dashboard or a storyboard you can see, which would be having a clubbing of multiple applications. That is the part of your smart business application. So from now onwards, going further, we would be going ahead with the Fiori itself. So a lot of things will go through the different applications, even the full scenario which we need to run, order to cash or procure to pay, we'll be doing through the Fiori itself. So you will come to know across that what kind of different applications and how to use them.
Thank you.
Samrat, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask some question.
Yeah, I have one question. That is normally in your ECC GUI when we fetch any reports, so there are multiple options we get in order to get the reports in different format. So same thing is possible here in GUI in Fiori.
So different options, basically, if you are using, I have shown you this part, HTML part of your transaction, you would be getting the same kind of option as it was there in GUI. Okay. If you are working on the Fiori application, which we have not gone through in any report of the Fiori, so even you don't know that how Fiori reports looks like. Okay. So first you need to understand that how Fiori reports look like, and then you would be able to see it is not same kind of report which you get it from the GUI. Okay. It's always available in the grid format. The same way it would be available in the grid format, you would be able to add your fields, you would be able to download into the Excel format. So we are not ending Fiori here, guys. So I know that you guys have a lot of questions, but stay on. From today onwards, whatever the journey we are going to do is everything is on Fiori. We are going through multiple reports. We'll go through the analytics. We'll go through the dashboards, storyboards. Everything step by step we'll go through. Okay, guys. So if you don't have any other question, I will quickly spend some time to explain about the Fiori architecture. Yeah, we have enough time. So let's go to the Fiori architecture. Before we go ahead into the Fiori architecture, you should be aware of some of the basic things about the Fiori. So let's cover what is the basic thing about the Fiori. Okay. Some of the question has been asked in the interviews, and some of the question has been asked related to this basic stuff in your certification exams. Okay. So what is Fiori actually? Fiori in the name come from a flower. The Fiori name is a kind of a flower. Okay, that's why when you log in, you see a symbol of a flower in the launchpad screen where you put your user ID and password. And what is Fiori? Fiori is basically a guidelines. Fiori is guidelines to create responsive apps. Okay, guys, so I would be covering this, the basic part of the Fiori and the architecture of the Fiori in tomorrow's session. But before I close today's session, do you guys have any questions? Any questions which you want to get it answered before we close the session today?
How is the performance of Fiori in ECC S4? Like performance wise, is it good in ECC, or is it same?
See, the Fiori performance in SAP S4 HANA is very good because you now would be knowing the reason for that. I have explained in very detailed the basic architecture that anytime if you want to get some data, okay, from your system, whether it's Fiori or whether you are trying ECC, what is the basic bottleneck? What is the major bottleneck? Your major bottleneck is your database. Okay, your database is not capable enough to fetch out the data because it's working on a mechanical components, right? That is your basic problem. So that basic problem do we have in ECC or do we have in S4 HANA? We have in ECC, we don't have in S4 HANA. So in ECC, whenever you will try to fetch out the data, okay, in little bit calculated data and more amount of data, whether you use Fiori or whether you use GUI, you would be having a performance issues. And because of HANA database capabilities, those issues would not be there in S4 HANA.
Ah, yeah, got it.
Remember these smart Fiori applications, whether these applications were available during 1610 also, or is just recently there in 1909?
So smart Fiori applications started coming with 1610, okay, and there is a huge amount of improvement, and the new application has been added in with 1709, 1809, or 1909. So SAP started with some few smart Fiori applications in the area of sales orders, order to cash fulfillment management, and then your procurement dashboard, okay, which we are reviewing it, procurement overview, that came up in 1709. So 1610 was having a limited, and then with the version upgrade, we had a more and more applications.
One thing that suppose we have a 1610 system now, and you want to go for a Fiori application now. We had only one Fiori now on the procurement side, but you want to activate all the Fiori now. Can we do that?
So I will show you tomorrow. There is one Fiori library there. We need to follow the Fiori library.
But
So
we don't want to upgrade the system.
Yeah, let me answer it first. So,
sorry.
Yeah, so with the Fiori library, you would be able to see that with 1610 version, what are the Fiori applications which is applicable for you. So you would be able to only use those applications which is available with 1610. It also has a lot of dependency on the front-end system, back-end system, your version of UI5. So a lot of dependencies are there. If all the dependencies are meeting it, then only you would be able to use that Fiori application. Fiori applications launched for 1709 system, you would not be able to use in 1610 until and unless you upgrade it.
Hi, Pavitra Samrat here. I have currently I am having one GUI which also has the features which just looks like a Fiori. So whether the facility, the features which we have in Fiori, is it possible to have the same feature apart from the database fast and your all other things?
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to show you yesterday. So if you are having a latest version of GUI, within the latest version, it comes with a default theme of Fiori theme. That is not actually Fiori, that is a Fiori theme, which makes your GUI application also looks and feels similar to Fiori. Okay, so when we have gone through in the transaction, your VA01. So the same way the transaction would be also be looking it in your Fiori system, in your GUI system with that Fiori theme. But that doesn't mean that you will be having a function and features of Fiori, it's just a theme.
Okay.
Any other question, guys? Okay, guys, if you don't have any other questions, so we are ending our session here in between today, and we'll join again same time tomorrow, and we'll continue with the basics of Fiori, Fiori architecture, the role concepts of the Fiori, and Fiori library. We'll also see how to activate applications, how to assign a roles to get to make sure that our launchpad is ready to use. Okay, guys, so thank you for joining today. Have a great day ahead. We'll join again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.